When it comes to Shannon Alvarado, since day one, all she could do is talk over me like a fucking crackhead. Whatever mental issues she's got, those are her problem. Those aren't my fault. And I shouldn't have had to try depending on her or anyone like her. She wanted to pretend like we'd been friends for a whole year before I went to her place. No, I didn't fucking know her from Adam. I'd never met her. She was just another person on the internet promising to help and not coming through. I tried to tell her what was going on at the very beginning because she wanted to know. There's all this stuff from these Natalie Bollinger groups, and she was promising me, she was watching all my videos, and she was going to help me to turn it in. But she never tried to help me turn it in, no matter what. Whether it was her or Mandy Hughes or Kayla Trujillo, no matter what. They'd make the promise to do so, and then when it came time to do so, they were all too fucked up. Shannon Alvarado saying that she's going to help me when Zanny goes to bed. Well, Zanny's never going to go to bed because Shannon Alvarado's never going to stop fucking screaming at people. Her daughter's biggest issue is that Shannon won't stop getting drunk and screaming at people. When she gets drunk, that's her favorite thing to do, to fucking scream at people. Anybody who stands up to her or has anything to say, she's going to fucking scream at. How dare anybody speak other than Shannon Alvarado when Shannon is fucking drunk and has some fucking crackhead bullshit stuck in her head? Meanwhile, she's not going to focus on the task at hand. All she's going to focus on is trying to make any excuse why it's not her fault that she's a fucking piece of shit. By the way, there's a needle there, right there in the bushes. Yep, at least they put the cap back on it. Through all this, what I needed was an actual friend, not somebody who's going to pretend to be my friend until it was inconvenient for them or they had to actually fucking do something. Holy Christ. The thing is, from the very start, it's always been the same thing with every one of these women. They don't know how. They don't know how. They don't know how to turn anything into the police. You know what? There is one thing that you cannot be in the United States and be a woman and not be aware of, and that is how to get a hold of the police. There isn't a single woman in the United States who is so incredibly ignorant or stupid that she doesn't know how to get a hold of the police. If there is a crime committed against a woman's child, I guarantee you that it's not going to take her 6 months to figure out how to call the fucking police. Guaranteed, if Shannon Alvarado's daughter was raped, whether it was in her own household or 10 states away, guaranteed Shannon Alvarado would not be so fucking retarded that she couldn't figure out how to fucking turn it in, god damn it. So Shannon Alvarado, for all these years, has been playing mentally fucking retarded. That is gaslighting. That isn't helping. Getting drunk isn't helping. No matter how nice of things that you might say while you're drunk, you are fucking drunk. When the things that Shannon Alvarado did were very, very harmful to me, she wanted to blame it on her daughter. Oh, it's Zanny's fault. It's Zanny's fault. No, it's not. How is her daughter or her son going to get any sleep with her getting drunk and screaming at people in 2, 3, even 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes? There were times when the sun came up before Shannon Alvarado was finished screaming at Rick. When it came to the situation with Natalie Bollinger, with Kara Johnson Miles, Shannon Alvarado just wants to toot her own horn. Oh, I'm the one who exposed Kara Johnson, Miles. No, you weren't. You showed me and nobody else. You made literally zero effort to turn it into the cops. You made excuse after excuse after excuse. Oh, I can't, I'm in a different state. Guaranteed, if it happened to your fucking daughter, you'd figure out how to fucking do it. Meanwhile, my predators, and that includes Shannon Alvarado, they'll work together to try to shut me up. After Shannon Alvarado pulled all of her fucking bullshit, promised me she was going to help me to turn it in. And Mandi Hughes was even in the same fucking state as me. Mandi Hughes was in the state of Colorado when all this shit with Natalie Bollinger went down, when she got her fucking brains blown out. Mandi Hughes was in Colorado. Promised to help me to turn it in, promised to go in with me, and no matter what, when it came time to actually keep her word, it's some fucking excuse. And then of course, all these people want to do is, well, they wouldn't work together to help me out. None of them would. But then when they're angry at me, after they've done wrong shit, oh yeah, then they'll work together. Shannon Alvarado doesn't give a fuck about the evidence. She doesn't give a fuck about me. What she cares about is trying to cover her own ass. She doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't want to take responsibility for the fact that she did fucked up shit, made empty promises, and took advantage of an at-risk adult because she's a fucking drunk. How mentally goddamn retarded do you have to be to not understand that if someone is being harmed, that they need someone to call with them to turn it in? If you can't be there in fucking person to help turn it in, then you can make the fucking phone call so that the victim is taken seriously instead of treated like a fucking schizo. You stupid, retarded, dumb motherfucking cunt! It was always about what Shannon Alvarado wanted. That phone call with Shannon Alvarado while I was still in Nebraska, only a couple of months after Natalie was killed. Shannon Alvarado was promising that, yeah, she'd make the time. She'd make the time. She would finally call me and listen. Well, she didn't fucking listen. She wanted to go off on a fucking tangent like a fucking crackhead about her fucking crazy Illuminati goddamn bullshit. Maybe you should listen to the victims. Thank you. Maybe you should listen to the victim instead of telling the victim what happened when the victim was there and you fucking weren't. How about when you promise that you will help the victim to turn it in, you do it right the fuck away instead of making excuses and getting drunk for literally years. Right away. Any fucking idiot knows that when a crime is committed against you, you need to turn it in right away. When you are called mentally ill, you can't. You will be fucking harmed unless there's a friend or family member who makes the fucking call with you. The fact that the Bollingers and their fucking cronies and the cops were all allowed to fucking slander me in fucking court and deny me my rights as a fucking human being, all because pieces of shit like Shannon Alvarado literally never once tried making a single fucking call with me. Alvarado would quit saying she doesn't know what to do or who to call. She expects me to know all this, but then she's not going to let me answer it. The other thing is, she's got to admit that she fucked up. But how's she going to do that? She's doing exactly the same thing she was doing before. She can't stay on fucking topic, can't stay on subject, and as a result, I have to point out how many times she has done that in the past and how much harm I have had to endure because she has literally never once tried to help me turn it, and how much harm I have had to endure because she has literally never once tried to help me turn it in. What she wants to do is call me up drunk and fucking argue. What she wants to do is call me up drunk and fucking argue. She's fucking lonely and goddamn pathetic and feels fucking sorry for herself and wants someone she can talk at. Well, maybe she should go to a fucking AA meeting. There's lots of people there she can fucking talk at. I never should have had to depend on fucking alcoholics and drug addicts for help. The police have a job to do, and they didn't do their job. The mental health people had a job to do, and they didn't want to do their job, so they just simply did not do their fucking job. It's that simple. Without a friend or family member, they don't have to do their job. They just call you mentally ill and brush it under the fucking rug. Meanwhile, I gotta deal with who? Shannon Alvarado. Why? Because she's a fucking witness to the goddamn situation. But what good of a fucking witness is she when she's a fucking lush? Well, no matter what, she's gonna try to change the subject. Try to make it somehow my fault that she doesn't fucking listen. No, I'm not playing that fucking game, bitch. Don't tell me what a fucking compassionate person you are when you are literally committing felonies to fucking hide your fuck-ups. Don't fucking do it. You want to intentionally mislead the situation because you don't want to admit that you're a fucking alcoholic. I don't give a fuck, Shannon Alvarado. People are fucking dead because you don't want to admit that you're an alcoholic. You don't want to admit how fucking harmful you were to those around you because of your fucking alcoholism. You don't give a shit. See, I've got more respect for fucking crackheads out here on the streets than I have for you, because at least these fucking crackheads admit it. I've got more respect for the meth addicts out here, and the heroin addicts out here, and the alcoholics out here. At least they're admitting that they're alcoholics and heroin addicts and meth addicts. What's Shannon Alvarado doing? She doesn't know anything about what's going on because no matter what, she gets stuck on the same 5 fucking things. I have had literally hundreds of crimes committed against me since then, and she is still stuck on her assumptions like a fucking crackhead. When I had to yell at her, what did she do? This is all the way in 2018. I had to yell at her to shut the fuck up and fucking listen. And what did she do? She pretended that I was some horrible fucking monster. And Dan Favored used that as a fucking excuse to be a piece of shit to me repeatedly. No, Shannon Alvarado does not get a free fucking pass. Neither does Mandy Hughes. The fact that Shannon Alvarado was helping Mandy Hughes to fucking harass me after Mandy Hughes wanted to pretend like I was some sort of a stalker for telling the goddamn truth. No, fuck you, Mandy Hughes, and fuck you too, Shannon Alvarado, you fucking piece of shit. Leave me the fuck alone means leave me the fuck alone. It doesn't mean call me over and over again. It doesn't mean make fake accounts to fucking spy on me and harass me. Shannon Alvarado thinks it's okay. Just like Natalie Bollinger thought it was okay. Just like Ted Bollinger thought it was okay. All of these people think it's fucking okay to fucking stalk me. And it's not okay. Shannon Alvarado to this day is not actually interested in turning in any of these fucking crimes. All she's interested in is making it out to be not her fault in the least bit. She did nothing wrong. Bullshit. She's an alcoholic and a shitty person when she's fucking drunk. At least she's consistent. Dan Favorite used the fact that I yelled at Shannon. Didn't care how many times Shannon fucking yelled at me. Didn't care how many times she interrupted me to fucking sell a false goddamn narrative. Hey, shut the fuck up. Instead of telling the guy who was there what you think happened, why don't you listen to the guy that was there, dumbass? How about when you promise to help somebody turn it in, you fucking do so right the fuck away? Instead of helping the predators to get away by promising to help and literally never following through. And then later on, it's not, oh yeah, I'm sorry I didn't keep my word and I didn't keep my promises. Later on, it's, oh, I never said that. I never said I promised. Oh, I just meant I was going to do, and then you go off on a tangent about something that was definitely not the agreement. Something that these are all people. It's literally the only way to fucking do it. If you don't help me turn it in right away, then my rights are fucking denied and I am walked over. You pieces of shit! You never, ever tried making the calls with me. You promised, and when it came time to keep your word, what did you do? Any excuse not to fucking try. Shannon Alvarado knew full well that I was telling the truth about these predators. And never once in all this time has she tried making a telephone call with me to any of the police, any of the courts, a single fucking lawyer, not a goddamn person. She thinks talking at me and talking over me and telling me what to do, what to think, and what to fucking feel, and trying to gaslight me over shit that I was fucking there for. Do not fucking gaslight me. Don't pretend that it's Zanny's fault that you're a drunk piece of shit. It is because of people like you, Shannon Alvarado, that you chose not to give a shit. You chose to fucking lie and make it about you. You chose to make empty fucking promises. I'm interested only in turning in the evidence of the abuse against myself and others. And that includes abuse by Shannon Alvarado, intentionally misleading situations, because she just can't admit that she's a fucking shitty person when she's fucking drunk. Someone calling himself Will Prentice typed UR with a little star next to it. Don't know what the fuck that means, don't care. The thing is, Shannon Alvarado was involved in the situation at the Longmont Hospital. She was involved in the situation with, well, the abuse after Natalie's death. A lot of it, including the abuse in Rollins, Wyoming. She was involved in a lot of that. But she literally never once helped me to turn it in. Ever. Because she was too busy getting drunk. I went to Shannon Alvarado's twice. Once in 2018 to flee abuse in Colorado. And because she promised to help me how I needed so I could turn this evidence in. But she was too fucking drunk then, and she's too fucking drunk now. Whatever it is that's wrong with her fucking head that makes her think that her opinions are more important than facts or evidence is completely beyond me. But the thing is, what her opinion is all that matters to her. The actual experience of the victim don't mean shit to her. Will Prentice, typing insults. I come to expect this. I also know how to deal with it. Take a screenshot. Blam. And then what do? Hide user on this channel. Pretty easy to do. And now Will Prentice has another account banned from my channel. How many of them is it for that feller? All Shannon Alvarado wanted to do was talk over me. It's obvious that she just is interested in that. She doesn't care about my experience. She doesn't care about how the things that she did hurt me and harmed me, cut me off from any sort of real assistance. No matter what, she was going to make me turn that evidence in by myself. And no matter how many times I tried, they weren't going to fucking look at it unless Shannon Alvarado, first of all, admits that she fucking exists, and second of all, admits where she got that fucking evidence, and third of all, admits that she got her nose stuck in this shit. She put her nose in it. Did I ask Shannon Alvarado to get involved? Shannon, to this day, Shannon Alvarado goes to these different jurisdictions and turn this in. It has to go to Adult Protective Services, and it has to go to the FBI. That's who it needs to go to. I've already tried the proper channels. Shannon Alvarado made me do it myself without any assistance. All of my friends made me go through it alone without any assistance. Not one of them ever helped me to turn in any of the crimes committed against me to the cops or the courts. Not Shannon Alvarado, not Laura Nelson, nobody. Now, there was one situation that I have no verification or proof of. I just have to trust Kayla Trujillo's word that she wrote a police report on December 29th of 2017. I went in a squad car. Does Shannon Alvarado care about any of what I'm going through today? No, she doesn't. Only her opinions matter. Her opinions. I'm still taking abuse every day. But she's not going to hear that because she just wants her opinions to be heard. She wants to be heard. She wants to be heard. She wants to be heard. She doesn't give a fuck what I'm going through. It's her turn to speak, always. And she will interrupt me to tell me her opinion of something she wasn't even there for. And she will get stuck on that like a fucking crackhead. Fucking come off of it, Jesus goddamn Christ. See, Shannon Alvarado needs to admit that she fucked up, and why. She's not willing to admit that she is an alcoholic or acknowledge the harm that that does to herself and those around her, because she's not fucking thinking straight. You get to see how she is when I try to tell her about how any of these situations affected me. How she's just going to talk over me and make excuses, not allow me to finish what I'm saying. Just cut me off so that I can't say it. That's why I make these videos, because no matter what, people are just going to fucking talk over me. At least here, you can't talk over me. At least here, I can address my grievances. When there's a problem between you and somebody else, you're supposed to tell that person how you feel, how their actions made you feel. But Shannon Alvarado isn't going to hear it. She's going to get into the excuse thing immediately before I get to finish any of what I'm saying. Even if I'm not even talking about her. Somehow everything that I say is going to be reinterpreted into some sort of a fucking insult against her as an alcoholic. No, I bring up the fact that she's an alcoholic because of the way that it affects myself and everyone else around her when she's like that. I was at her house for over a month and a half. Every night she told me she was going to help me as soon as Zanny went to bed. There was only one night the whole time I was there that she helped me, and she was drunk the whole time. It took her 4 hours to take less than 40 pictures. Yeah, that was a lot of fucking help. The rest of the time, it's Shannon's turn to talk. Shannon's turn to talk. Shannon's turn to talk. So instead of Shannon finding out what's going on or looking at evidence, I'm stuck there listening to her fucking conspiracy theory after fucking conspiracy theory. After the crimes committed by Mandi Hughes, the fact that Shannon Alvarado was trying to work together with Mandi Hughes to get into this group that obviously Mandi Hughes has no right or place being a part of. Obviously, Mandi Hughes never had any intention of actually coming forward and speaking up, just like Shannon Alvarado. As long as she doesn't have to admit her fuck-ups. And that's what we've taught women in America. Do whatever you want. As long as you don't admit it, people will believe you over a man. We've taught the police to act like women. To act with impunity. Act like the law doesn't matter. Their words are more important than the law. Their words are more important than evidence. No, they're fucking not. Shannon Alvarado could have listened to me and helped turn in the fucking evidence instead of getting drunk and talking over me. I told her to leave me alone, told her to leave me alone, told her to leave me alone, repeatedly, because all she's gonna do is get drunk and fucking talk over me, and then treat me like shit, tell me that I'm nasty, and try to make me feel sorry for her, because she's got compassion. No, she fucking doesn't. She pretends she's just glad somebody will fucking listen to her. Over that situation with Natalie. They had every opportunity and still every opportunity to help her. Everything, some sort of small assault against Shannon Alvarado. And as long as she treats me like that, yeah. Shannon Alvarado, anything that I set as a boundary, she is going to march over immediately, just like Natalie Bollinger, just like Maddie Boa. How dare I set boundaries? I have a penis. And then, of course, it's the my kids, my kids, my kids. You get to hear all these women blaming their kids for their actions. Who's responsible for a woman's actions? Her kids and her husband. Or her parents, if she's not an adult yet. Or her boyfriend, if she's not married yet. Shannon Alvarado gets drunk and is mean to everybody in the house. Oh, it's her daughter's fault that it's so loud. No. Her daughter wasn't the one screaming at Rick every fucking night. And Shannon Alvarado doesn't stop to consider how scary that is for the rest of the people in the house. How dare we have a reaction to that abuse? Oh, it's not directed at us, so it must be okay. No, it's not fucking okay. It wasn't okay when I was at Sally Treon's in Pueblo, Colorado, and her daughter was kicked in the fucking head by a meth head. That was not fucking okay. All Shannon Alvarado wanted was somebody to talk at. That was it. She was never interested in actually helping me. She wanted to talk about herself. And that's always what it becomes. It's always about Shannon and Shannon's opinions. All right, somebody made a Hello Kitty account to harass me. Obviously somebody who listened to the last recording. So what are we going to do? What do we do with trolls? Anyway, help me to turn it in. She never tried. To this day, she's never tried. She's just going to talk over me and tell me she doesn't know how. Bullshit. Any woman in this country who tells you she doesn't know how to turn in a crime is a fucking liar who is playing head games. There is literally not a female in America that we don't all teach that that's what they're supposed to do. And how? What do we teach women to do when they don't get their way? Go to their friends and family and pretend that he's a bad guy. Slander his name. Go to his friends and family and slander his name. And then when he reacts to long-term abuse because you slandered his name, then you play victim. Poor Shannon Alvarado, she's a victim in all this because I told the truth about why I couldn't do anything at her house. Yeah, she was supposed to help me when I got there, but when I got there, it was 10 times worse than she ever was on the phone. Shannon Alvarado with me and helped me to turn it in. When did she ever make a call to any police department, any public pretender, at any point in time? When did she make any effort whatsoever? She literally never did. Neither did Mandi Hughes, despite promise after promise. Scarier than a man who's on drugs and alcohol. Because we don't teach men to play those head games. We have to learn those from the women in our lives playing them on us. It's kind of like how I learned how to fight. People beat me up over and over again, and I remembered what fucking hurt. You women taught us to be shitty to you. You taught us that the only people that matter to you are shitty people. You want people who don't give a fuck about you to give a fuck about you. And you're willing to throw away and harm everyone who actually cares about you just for the attention of one person that doesn't. We taught women to be this way. Taught them to be this way. We taught them to not learn how to cook for themselves and then to bitch that all men expect them to cook for us. Fuck no, I don't want you fucking ruining my hamburger. I don't even want you boiling fucking water. If you don't know how to cook, never bothered to learn how to cook. That's not my fault. And it doesn't mean that I'm expecting you to cook. And my personal opinion is if you can't cook, fine, you can starve. That's a life skill, buddy. Being able to cook is not a woman's job. It's also not a man's responsibility. It's a gender role that you have placed on us. You women in the United States have placed all of a woman's gender roles onto a man while expecting men to maintain a man's gender role. You expect us to be women and men at the same time, while you're not willing to be either but want to take credit for both. You manipulate men into doing a bunch of stuff for you, and then you talk about how you did it all yourself. You manipulate men into watching your kids for free, and then you complain that you're raising a child by yourself. You have two men give you money for an apartment. One man give you money so you can rent a U-Haul. And another man who signs his signature so you can get an apartment of your own. And then you talk about how you did it all yourself. Yeah, that's what happened with Jamie Curtis. Yep. One man paid for the U-Haul. Two men paid for her first and last month's deposit so she could move into the new place. Myself, Todd Rust, and James Payton. Well, we moved Jamie's stuff out of James Payton's house and into her new apartment. Jamie wanted to pretend to me that she was afraid of James and that James found her place because of me, like I had given her address to James. According to James, Jamie got a hold of him because she was sick and called him and had him come over and bring her some soup. That's a lot different story than what Jamie told me. Jamie tried to insinuate that James found her address because I gave it to him. No, I never did. So she tried to make me feel like a bad guy because she called James up feeling sorry for herself and feeling lonely. And somehow I'm a bad guy because James is back in her life. Meanwhile, at that point in time, she had been telling me how afraid of James she was. How if something happened to her, it was James. How she was afraid to live in the same town as James. It's Rapid City, South Dakota. She promised me she was going to call me once a week so that I knew her and the boy were safe. She'd been talking to me on the phone, explaining to me how afraid she was. And then Natalie died. And Jamie Curtis fucking freaked on me. Well, you know what? She's the one that pretended like James Payton was some horrible monster stalking her. Jamie knows that she can play dudes. And dudes like James are dumbasses. See, James busted her cheating on him because I admitted that I liked Jamie's new boyfriend more than I liked James. Well, she was dating James at the time. So, yeah. He was on the phone with Jamie quick. Hey, what's this about you dating a guy that's not me? According to James, he showed up at the house 10 minutes after I'd left. I wasn't that welcome there. Well, because he got... We have taught every woman in America that she doesn't have to take responsibility for anything if she doesn't want to. There's always men to blame it on, and if that doesn't work, Shelly Campbell. Case in point, Danica Rochelle Garner. Lachelle, sorry. No matter what, If you do something wrong as a woman, just hide behind your gender or hide behind your children. It's not your fault. You are afraid for your children. How many of these women have said that and typed that? My sister included. I'm No, it's not her fault. It's getting their kids, right? But not one of them ever came forward to try to get in. So how am I supposed to believe them? I'm not. Shannon Alvarado is gonna have to admit, and instead of yelling at me angry and going, well, nobody's perfect. How about instead of saying nobody's perfect and considering that good enough, why don't you admit how you fucked up? Why don't you admit where you fucked up? Why don't you again? And then I get on here and I complain about the same things over and over and over again. Women showing extreme sexism towards men. If Shannon Alvarado had gone through this, she would have expected Rick to do something immediately. Just as she expected me to do something immediately when she wanted to start fights with Rick. And then she wanted to go, Sean, back me up on this. Kind of like when my dad would try starting a fight with me. He'd say, Diane, back me up on this. Hey, Rick, back me up on this. There's expectations there. At Shannon Alvarado's, I'm in a subservient environment. I had nowhere else to go. I had no money. I had nothing. I had to wait on Graham to send evidence so we could go through it. And he took for fucking ever to do so. He did not take it seriously. None of these people helped me to turn any of it in right away. Or at all. The difference between Shannon Alvarado and Graham Milbourne is that Graham Milbourne was paid to fucking help me and he didn't. Shannon Alvarado just made empty promises of if I go there, she'll this and she'll that. She doesn't know how to turn in crimes with the victim, huh? How about we call the agencies that need to be called and we work together to send them the fucking evidence that I sent to you repeatedly? Oh yeah, but you... And fucking cut me off to make fucking excuses because you don't want to admit that you fucked up. Go to a fucking AA meeting, Shannon. You know, when I went to Maddie Boa to beg her to put a stop to the violence, to put a stop to the abuse, to put a stop to the harm against heroin, amphetamines, along with Alicia Bollinger and their Chimo dad, Ted Bollinger, all doing fucking meth. But they pretend that I'm a druggie, that I'm a stalker, after all the shit that they did. And Shannon Alvarado got to see a lot of that. But no matter what, she just wanted to do all the talking. We never got to the point of turning it into any police agency because Shannon Alvarado doesn't know how to shut the fuck up. She wanted to tell me what a good listener she is. No, the fuck she's not. She wants to tell me what a good and compassionate person she is. She can't even admit that she fucked up. She can't even admit that there are consequences for others, for her alcoholism, for her decision to make alcohol the priority over everyone and everything else in her life. If she didn't have a free ride from her fucking crippled dad, yeah, she wouldn't have had a roof over her head, and she certainly would not have had her kids. I know people on the streets who are better parents than Shannon Alvarado by a lot. Because they care more about their kids than their addictions. And they show it by busting their ass to take care of their kids instead of fucking around with their addictions. Shannon Alvarado, at any point in time, could actually take the situation seriously. Any of them could do that. Any of them. Kayla Trujillo didn't want to admit that she had fucked up and that she had been completely disrespectful towards me after promising me she was going to help me. When was Kayla Trujillo first involved in the situation? She was first involved in October of 2016. The very Virginia. The first time I ever went over to her house to get actual help with it, because it hadn't stopped, was in November of 2016. Then December of 2016, I went back again. Then 3 more times in 2017, where she promised if I showed up with weed or cigarettes, she'd help me. Then there was finally when she gave me a ride to go see Natalie to put a stop to all the crazy. And Kayla Trujillo gave me a ride there, but she had to work, so she left me there by myself. Natalie Bollinger never showed up. Then there was after I was assaulted by Ken Wilson, Leatha Plunkett, and their roommate Don Bird over the money, my disability money, that Kenneth Wilson and Leatha Plunkett had spent. They had lied to me in order to gain access to my money, made empty promises, did not keep their promises, and then they played the hell out of Natalie Bollinger's death to get away with that, to pretend that I was just some crazy guy making shit up. Not fucking okay. Teresa Orrin was pissed off because she didn't think the whole world should know she's an alcoholic. The only reason I brought up the fact that she's an alcoholic is because she was doing fucked up shit, just like Shannon Alvarado's doing, because she's an alcoholic. The difference between Shannon Alvarado and Teresa Orrin is that at least Teresa Orrin admitted she's an alcoholic. The difference between Shannon Alvarado and Brett Roloff is that at least Brett Roloff admitted that he was a meth addict. The difference between Shannon Alvarado and Laura Moran is that at least Laura Moran admits that she's an addict. The difference between Shannon Alvarado and Rochelle Shelley Campbell is that Rochelle Shelley Campbell at least admits she's an addict. The difference between Shannon Alvarado and Danica Lachelle Garner is that Danica Lachelle Garner at least admits that she's an addict. And sure, Shannon Alvarado can say, oh, well, I'm only addicted to this. Okay. Do over half of all murder victims have heroin in their system? No. How about meth? No. How about marijuana? No. How about alcohol? Yes. Do over half of all murderers? How about alcohol? Yes. Shannon Alvarado doesn't care how scary she is when she's getting like that. But she knows full well that she has the power and control because she got to be in control of the household, who stays and who goes. If Rick McCormick did what Shannon Alvarado wanted him to do, she kicked him out over 30 times one night and he just wouldn't leave. Then he finally did leave, and she wanted me to run around looking for him with her. Like, hey, you just spent a whole week and a half accusing this guy of cheating on you during the only 15 minutes that are unaccounted for on his phone. He was waiting for the person he was supposed to pick up as an Uber driver for 15 minutes. I've kept Uber drivers waiting for almost half an hour. Not because I wanted to. It's not fucking okay. See, it's Shannon Alvarado and people like her People who promise to help, and no matter what, it's always some excuse why they can't. Well, you shouldn't have fucking promised to do so. And you shouldn't have fucking tried to hide it afterwards. You tell me you're going to help me with my computer stuff and with turning in this evidence, and you're going to look at the evidence with me. And then all you do is get drunk. Not fuck about me. You care about getting drunk and starting fights.